I'm of the opinion that you don't need experience. As long as you have people with good ideas that want to better the lives of, you know, Nigerians, that want to make basic amenities available to everybody, I'm sure they can find a way to get it done. When you're talking about experiences, I believe you're probably talking about bureaucracy, where there are so many layers into government before you can get things done. You have to go through this approval, go through that approval. Obviously, I'm not advocating for autocracy, but maybe that's what we need in Nigeria to move things forward. Because over the last four presidents in Nigeria, nothing has really changed. It's just been the same people recycling themselves from one party to the other, all in the name of experience. What experience do you need to get things done?
Yeah, I agree with you. But I think experience does not necessarily mean that you have to have been a president. I think I can liken it to like a company. If a company advertises that they are looking for operations manager, it is not like anybody cannot fill that role. They can pick anybody from the floor to pick the role of operations manager, and they will be able to execute like at the operational level, get things done. But do you have experience dealing with people, with dealing with different departments, with dealing with, like you said, bureaucracies, working alongside people, working with people with different ideas, conflicting ideas, different ways they think that things should be done, and you're able to convince them and get them to agree on what you are suggesting. I think that is the biggest thing when, they talk about experience.
Welcome to the Y and E podcast. Thank you for joining us. And if you haven't subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button, like, share, and engage with us in the comment section. We're chatting about the ongoing leadership challenge that Nigeria has been facing over the years. I'm of the opinion that you don't need experience. As long as you have people with good ideas that want to better the lives of, Nigerians, that want to make basic amenities available to everybody, I'm sure they can find a way to get it done. When you're talking about experiences, I believe you're probably talking about bureaucracy, where there are so many layers into government before you can get things done. You have to go through this approval, go through that approval. Obviously, I'm not advocating for autocracy, but maybe that's what we need in Nigeria to move things forward. Because over the last four presidents in Nigeria, nothing has really changed. It's just been the same people recycling themselves from one party to the other, all in the name of experience. What experience do you need to get things done? I mean, using Peter Obi as an example, when he was a governor of Anambra State, Peter Obi at that point held a leadership position in the private sector, but not in the political space. And Shawari started his newspaper company from the scratch in New York. Today it's big. He's employing people, feeding families. So in that aspect, he has some experience to get things done. And he's been in the political space even since his university days in Nigeria in the 90s. So he has what it takes. If this party can work with other genuine Nigerians that truly want to make a change, and not people that are power hungry, maybe they truly have a chance at winning. Maybe they truly have a chance at getting the Nigerian people to really vote for them. But as of today, a lot of Nigerians don't really take Showore seriously because of maybe his antagonistic attitude towards the government, or maybe because people just think it's unserious because he can't win. So if you know you can win and you truly want to win, you need to pair up with people. And it doesn't want to pair up with people to get things done. In political space, in Nigerian political space, you have to make some concessions to get what you need to deliver for the people.
Yeah, I agree with you. But I think experience does not necessarily mean that you have to have been a president or you have to have, I think I can liken it to like a company. If a company advertises that they are looking for operations manager, it is not like anybody cannot fill that role. They can pick anybody from the floor to pick the role of operations manager, and they will be able to execute like at the operational level, get things done. But do you have experience dealing with people, with dealing with different departments, with dealing with, like you said, bureaucracies, working alongside people, working with people with different ideas, conflicting ideas, different ways they think that things should be done, and you're able to convince them and get them to agree on what you are suggesting. I think that is the biggest thing when they talk about experience. In Nigeria, you made mention of Peter Obi. Peter Obi was actually, he came from the bank, but from the bank he went to be a governor. Okay, he didn't jump from the bank and say he wants to be a president. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. I think all of this was Showore would have used this time to probably run for House of Rep or for Senate. Then from there that would be a springboard to the presidency. Whether we like it or not, he need experience. He has never been elected into any position, so he need the experience. I think the only exception to that political experience is probably Donald Trump. Will I say he was just lucky, or he came at the right time when America really needed something other than politician? Because if you go back in the time past, even George W. Bush and then the father, and even Barack Obama, even Clinton, all of those people came out from a product of either the Congress or the Senate. So you need that experience, how to deal with people, how to negotiate, how to, give, you learn how to give and take, you learn how to, to put your position to have people see the reason why they should take your position. But if, you have never been in any elected office, and then all of a sudden you wake up one day and say you want to become the president, it would definitely be difficult. Like or hate him, somebody like a Wike will make a very good president. You know why? Because he knows how to, according to him, how to maneuver all of those things. That is why you see that even Tinubu, with all his mess ups, he still get things done. Anything he puts his mind that he wants to do, he get it done. He run it through the National Assembly, the imaginary National Assembly that we have. He runs it through Akpabio, and Akpabio signs it because he knows how to give and take, and he knows how to, to put his prayer forward. I think those are some of the experience that somebody need to be a president. Somebody like Shura, I know he has a very good intention for Nigeria. Just like every other person, he wants Nigeria to grow. He wants us to, to to be at our full potential. Then again, he definitely need the experience, whether he like it or not. I would advise him to maybe run for Senate, go back home, run for his senatorial district, and then become a senator. And then from a Senate, he will just use that as a springboard to the presidency.
Well, I'm sure to him, being a senator would not cut it, because as a senator, you can't really effect any change. If you can truly effect any change, what are those senators doing that they haven't truly fixed anything that is wrong with Nigeria? Nigeria has been, slowly degrading over the years. So we have hundreds of senators, hundreds of House of Rep members, and it's not like they don't have good intentions too. I'm sure when they were running for office, they believed they could make some changes to help their constituents. But today, the story is different, right? Because of the bureaucracy, right? Because of the give and take system. But when you bring fresh faces into place, they can cut down the bureaucracy. They can get things done quicker. I mean, like what the former SDP presidential candidate said in that video or podcast with Sheon Walking Baloye, he was suggesting that Nigerians should vote out the presidency and should vote out the National Assembly members. Because if you keep the National Assembly members, then you're still going to get the same result. Yes, most of them are corrupt. They only care about stomach infrastructure, and they don't truly see what the need is to change a lot of the things the Nigerian people are speaking against. And they don't need to change it because it doesn't affect them, right? They live large on the Nigerian people, and the Nigerian people are having to take care of the debt. Experience in this regard, I don't think it's truly necessary. You don't need to be a senator or a House of Rep member, because it's just a waste of time. You're not going to be able to make any changes, right? Because the only people with leverage will be able to make changes. And if you're coming in new, maybe you're one term, you say, well, they'll just forget about you there. If you're not a troublemaker, they'll forget about you. And, that's where politicians or political careers go to die. So they're comfortable, they're making constant money, and all they need to go do is to go to their constituent maybe once a quarter and share some money and come back 4 years later and ask for their votes. So they're not truly able to effect any change. But if Nigerians see that Shiwori have some qualities in him that will make him a better president, maybe they need to advise him to pair up with other people that can win. Because at this point, he doesn't have the numbers, and Nigerians are not patient enough to listen to his ideas and put him in office. But when they need his help, they'll call on it. That, hey, we need you to help us protest against unpaid salaries, against police brutality. But when it's time for people to put him in power, they won't put him in power because they just assume he's not going to win, right? How about you listen to what he has to offer, and maybe he's going to be a better candidate, or maybe Peter Obi will be a better candidate. But what we currently have right now is not working. And if the current president truly wanted to make a change, he would have started with, cutting the cost of governance. But he's the one living large, buying yachts, installing solar system in Aso Rock because he can't deliver on electricity for the Nigerian people. So it's a shame. And I don't see anything changing anytime soon until the Nigerian people stand up and say, hey, enough is enough.
Yeah, I agree with you. But even if this is my own thinking, this is what, in fact, if you want me to be brutally honest, I would say Peter Obi should use this opportunity to run for Senate, for his senatorial district.
He's not going to be able to make any change.
So
It's just going to be a waste of time.
The goal is not to go there and make changes and make some, big changes, propose changes. I think I guess what I'm trying to say is that the goal is to go there and familiarize yourself with these people, familiarize yourself with how they carry out their business, because eventually when you become the president, you will need that experience in dealing with them. Let's take, for instance, Marco Rubio. Marco Rubio is being successful as a Secretary of State because he's a senator, or he was a senator. And if he eventually become a president, do you think Marco Rubio will have a lot of pushbacks? No. All of these things that Trump is doing, you think Marco Rubio will be doing it? It will
So
not
you
happen
think
to
Marco
Marco
Rubio
Rubio because
is likely going to be a president?
I'm just saying
in the
hypothetically. I'm just saying hypothetically. But all of this, all of these issues following Trump around, I don't think Marco Rubio will be doing it because he knows how the Senate operates. He knows he's rich. He knows, what the law is and all of those stuff. So he won't have all those problems. Trump is having all this problem because he's not from a political background. When Obama was the president, Obama probably did way more than what Trump did, like deported more people than Trump deported. But we didn't hear any trouble with it, Even Joe Biden deported a lot of people. We didn't hear any trouble with it. That's because both of those two people, had Congress or Senate experience. So it made their life easy. They were able to do it without issue. That is why Trump is having this problem. So to become a president of a country, I still believe that at least you need an experience. Obi has some kind of experience being a governor, yeah, but I will advise him to run for his Senate, for his senatorial district, and see if he can represent his senatorial district in the Senate. If not for anything, I'm not saying go make a change, go propose some radical changes. Just go there and familiarize yourself with these people so that when you step in there tomorrow, you know the bills to sponsor and you will know the things, how to go about carrying out your duty. Yeah, I guess what I'm trying to say is that if you want to be a president, and not just a president, an effective one, you definitely need experience, maybe as a governor, but I wouldn't think that is enough because as a governor, you are just presiding over your state assembly. But if you go to the National Assembly, you will be there because it's not longer a secret that our Senate is a retirement home for our former governors. So you go there, do business with them, just learn and then sit and watch how they do their business. Because when you become the president, you will need that relationship that you have, cultivated with them, that experience of dealing with them, knowing how they conduct their business. You will definitely need it to be successful. I guess that was why Obama was successful as a president. That was why Joe Biden, to some extent, was successful with not a whole lot of scandal. That is why Tinubu is able to be maneuvering this our National Assembly and getting things done, whatever he wants. He's when he changed the Nigerian national anthem, they did not debate it. It didn't take up to 45 minutes, and they changed it. This to tell you that thing, only experience can get you that thing. because the experience includes knowing those people, their witnesses, knowing whatever they have in their on their cupboard and stuff like that.
Oh,
Their
you mean
secret,
like
their deadly
blackmailing
secret,
them?
and all of that stuff. Yeah, it includes all of that stuff. Whether you believe it or not, it includes all of that stuff. Knowing how to, leverage on all of those things, like somebody like Akpabio, knowing how to leverage all of those things, it gives you edge over them. So when I talk about experience, that is exactly what I mean. I would advise Shawara and Peter Obi. I think Shawara is still very young. He should probably go back and run for House of Rep or Senate, and then get some experience, and then from that place run for president. It would definitely help him to be a better president. I must be very frank with you.
Well, I still disagree with you. Like I said, there's nothing happening in the National Assembly unless you want to be part of the corrupt crew. Because if you can't beat them, you have to join them. And you don't want to tarnish your image. You don't want to tarnish your records. I don't think going into the House of Assembly will help them. What about Jonathan? Jonathan was a governor. Would you say Jonathan wasn't successful in his role? What about Buhari? Buhari had been a president during the military era.
Yep.
But would you say him being in the National Assembly really helped him? I wouldn't say no. What about Yaradua? I don't know if Yaradua was a senator or was a House of Rep member. But even Obasanjo wasn't.
He was
I
a
don't think
military head of
Obasanjo was
state.
in the Senate, but he was a military leader as well, and he delivered for Nigeria in his own capacity.
Yeah, so Obasanjo being a former military head of state definitely helped him. If Buhari had come a little bit earlier than he did, he would have probably made a very good president. But when he came, he was tired. He wasn't supposed to be in the public life again. He was supposed to have retired back home at that time that he became president, including Tinubu. Tinubu is trying, but I think he's past his prime. So whatever he's doing, what he's doing today, if he had come like 10 years ago, he probably would have done almost 10 times better than what he's doing now. So you can not really discard that experience. That experience is really, really good. It gives you, the opportunity to learn your colleagues, people that you'll be working with, if you eventually become a president. One thing for sure, if let's say by stroke of luck, Obi becomes a president, Obi will have a hard time getting things done because he don't know how some of these things work. His experience is limited to state level. But when it comes to national level, the money is much more the money to embezzle is much more, the stakes are higher and all of those stuff. So Obi will definitely have a hard time getting things done. So I would advise Obi to go run for Senate, represent his constituency for a term, and then come back and run for the president. And it will make him a better president, including Shawara. Shawara should go run for Senate and then go get ready because he's still very young, 50 something plus. And by the time he's done 4 years, he will probably be hovering around 58. And then I think that is usually the right age for people to become president in Nigeria. So definitely they need experience. If not for anything, just to learn how to deal with those criminals. And then it will definitely help them. Let us know what you think, and then we'll be happy to engage with you in the comment section.